Good evening. Today let us discuss the issues related to 8th June 2015 newspaper. The first topic is related to the role of media and especially how the media is changing with reference to the changing digital world. So there are various established practices of journalism. They are getting challenged from the growing big data. Now, the digital world, it has provided for new opportunities for media, the citizen journalism, growth of social media. All these are the contributions from the growth of information technology. Now, in this context, how to generate standards for this media is the major question. The social media, is it more gossiping or a standard news? The citizen journalism, how we have to create standards for this generated content, how to maintain editorial control on these things. These are the major questions. And after this, to maintain the independence of media, so the source of media is always protected for. It means that the protection of a person who is giving the news, it is the basis for the functioning of the media. But however, the growing patriot laws or anti-terrorism related legislations, the pressure on the third parties such as Google, etc., internet service providers, and mandatory provisions to maintain the data of calls, etc., from the companies, all these are increasing the risk for an individual who is the source of the data. Now, Julian Assange and Bradley Manning, Snowden, all these issues, all the arrests of these people or restrictions on these people that prove that the security for the source of the news is being lost. So in this context, we can say that the journalism is at a cross section now. It's at the intersection between the social and democratic process on one side and the market on the other side. So social and democratic process, so the deepening of the citizen engagement, this is the thing. On the market side, so the degrading values of the ethics to the consumerism or to the choice of the consumers, which is being more and more facilitated by the digital media, this is another challenge. So the three challenges in the digital era are, one is growing alternative voices of expression. In this context, how to maintain the standards and the editorial control. The second is the protection of the sources of information. The third thing is the crossroads where the social democratic purpose is fighting with the market principles. These are the things. The next is, with regard to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, this fight will never end because especially the politics are dominating over development, and the Telangana Chief Minister is entrusted to conduct a sting operation on the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. That's drama is going on everywhere. So the first fundamental problem is, if the political gains dominate the administrative decisions, our short-term vision is going to take over the long-term vision of the welfare of the people. All these problems come up. The irregular process of division of the state for political benefits, it has the foundation for all these problems. For example, if you see the water issues, division of the offices and officers, properties, and power, all these are still continuing as the problems between these two states. And the second thing is the politics of engagement. So they are more and more leading to the growth of hatred between the people from these two these two states. So in this context, the excessive dependence on Hyderabad as a primate city is the major reason. 99% of the IT and IT enabled services of previous United Andhra Pradesh were from Hyderabad. And second, 20% of the tax revenues of the entire United Andhra Pradesh were from Hyderabad. Now Hyderabad is like a golden duck, which was given to Telangana, so that is reflected in biannual budgets of these two states. The Telangana became a surplus state and Andhra Pradesh became a deficit state. So in this context, how this has to be balanced? And there were various promises made to Andhra Pradesh. They are nowhere visible in the near future. So no capital and no, relatively no infrastructure in the state, and the resources or the revenues which were coming from Hyderabad were deprived for the Andhra Pradesh. How to tackle this situation and take forward these states for development? And with regard to Telangana, the celebratory mood did not end yet, and the government shall come into the developmental mood now. See, that the things as living in Hyderabad, I can say. And next is, this is an article which is talking about what is the meaning of belongingness. So, this is just a kind of philosophical article, so it's trying to explain various forms of belongingness, etc. Where I can fit in this article, I don't know, but we can use this in essay, or you can use this in ethics chapter. But I don't know, in my regular teaching courses, I don't see a value of this article, but I am dealing with it. So what the author says is, the sense of belongingness has two dimensions. So the first dimension is positive, that will be responsible for the well-being of a person. The second dimension is competitive, and it is a sense of possession. For example, a commodity, we say it belongs to me. A well-being, it means that people and their relations, that sense of belongingness, it is more of emotional belongingness. And if you feel something as possessed, as an article you believe, an authority you enjoy over that article. So in this case, the positive sense indicates an effective side of identification. It means that me associated with my culture and social practice is a positive sense of belongingness. On another sense, a possessive authority, so it means which demands for, you have to comply with the rules and regulations. If your father is saying something to follow, so it means there is a possessive authority. If Khap Panchayats are saying you have to marry within the tribe or group, then there is a possessive authority. And we are the representatives of Hindus, and Hindus shall behave in this particular way. They have to wear a big, entire sari, or they shall not go with the modern ways of living. It's a sense of a possessive authority of some people who believe they are reflecting the religion. So it means that the belongingness can be seen from every perspective. Now at the nationalism level, the symbols of nations such as flags, anthems, songs, all these are to bring in a sense of belongingness among the people. So belongingness can be seen by different perspectives. But however, if you observe my opinion, the sense of belongingness as a possessive authority will ultimately lead to the repulsion of few individuals on the systems of authority. Now, for example, if someone forces me to do, under the force of authority saying that this is right, you have to do that, probably I'll try to repel that. So if someone, an affectionate or some sense of identification, we belong to one sect, probably I may oblige him. So this is how the belongingness is changing. This is the article. And next is, LAC differences may stall India and China CBMs. Way back in 1996 itself, certain confidence building measures have started between India and China with regard to avoid the problems are eye-to-eye contacts at the border. Now, then as a continuation of that, clarification of the boundary issue has started. And this clarification process, it has become complex, and that was replaced by the special representative talks during the Vajpayee era. And finally, during Prime Minister Modi's visit, he has openly asked for the Chinese authorities to bring in the clarification on the LAC, line of actual control. So, what the Chinese are insisting is, better to expand the code of conduct and improve the confidence building measures. That's what is the Chinese view is. And with regard to black money, this article is too in depth with regard to us to understand the things. The reason is this: how to bring the black money from various countries. For that, what is the approach we shall take, the article is discussing. So what it says is, whatever the law which is being made, the statute do not talk anything about bringing back the money, It only tries to punish an individual if he is found with hoarding the money in the other countries. But bringing the money back, there is no proper mechanisms are being set out or being spoken. So that's why the black money laws in the country are highly inadequate. And he has talked about what are the legal routes we can bring in the black money. But it is a technical thing, and for general studies, we don't need to get into this. Even if I explain that, that will become intellectual enema, and it is not worth it. Again, I have clarified this in the previous article. Legacy of John Nash. In this, understand. So if you have a chance, please watch this. A Beautiful Mind movie. It's a wonderful movie. So it's also dramatized the things to an extent. But however, the game theory has changed the way we make the decisions. So we shifted away from the zero-sum game of decision making towards something called as optimal decision making. So this rational decision making has increased because of the approach given by the Michael Nash. And this Nash equilibrium is used everywhere in imports, exports, management of big organizations, everywhere it is used. So in context to this, try to study about the game theory and Nash equilibrium, etc. because that can be asked for a short question this year. And because it has changed the way how the world operates. The games are being seen as an application of the game theory in the economics. It is the largest contribution. So try to understand what is this Nash equilibrium. Don't get into too complexities of that. 50 to 60 words. Gold monetization scheme. So here you can deposit your gold with the banks, and banks tomorrow pay back to you either in money or in the gold. It means that you are going to get the money for the gold which you keep in your house. That is the first thing. What the banks will do with this gold? The banks will deposit that with the RBI and they get the greater liquidity which they use for lending. In that way, if gold, which is the second largest imported item in India, can be used productively as a financial instrument. And the problem with the gold is, it is one of the reasons for the fiscal deficit in India, rising fiscal deficit. With the gold monetization scheme, this is what is the thing. In India, gold is consumed as an ornament, not as just a value which is to store. So it's not just as a risk hedging mechanism, it's also an ornament. If we want to standardize that particular gold intake, etc., you have to melt them and you have to check the purity, etc., which make the operationally difficult. And most of the people, households may not lend their gold. So if it has to be melted. And the third thing is this. The advantage part will be the institutionalized gold with the temples, etc. This can be used for this gold monetization scheme. But what exactly the article says is the technical difficulties may make the operationalization of this program probably difficult. Now let's come to the today's notes. What is the sense of belongingness mean? What are the two dimensions I have discussed to you? The Prime Minister's Modi visit to Bangladesh, I forgot to discuss this. So what are the things? The first is Teesta river water. So just the country, India assured that as quick as possible this problem will be solved. In the meanwhile, a temporary sharing mechanism will be put in place on Teesta river water and Feni river water. And next is Tipai Mukh Dam. It is an hydroelectric power project coming on Barak river. So the Bangladesh has objections to this. In this context, India said that Tipai Mukh Dam will not be taken up in the existing design. Interlinking of river waters. Bangladesh has objections to this. India has stressed on its own old point. What it said, anything that is going to damage the interests of Bangladesh with regard to its interlinking of waters will not be taken up without due information sharing with Bangladesh. And next is power. The Bangladesh is an energy deficit country. And the northeastern India, there are huge sources of power generation. So the power generated in India will be used in Bangladesh. And also, we use the supply networks of the Bangladesh to get the power to North India, from the excess power to the North India. from the hydroelectric projects which will be taken up here. And next is connectivity. So Bangladesh has to improve its connectivity through Nepal and Bhutan, means it has to go through India. Similarly, India, if it wants to increase the northeast connectivity, it has to use Bangladesh. So we have agreed for this thing. Added to that, Bangladesh is one of the opening for India with the Southeast Asian countries. BIMSTEC is one thing which is trying to do that. So in this case, the good relations in Bangladesh will always help us. And waterways, yes, this is transshipment arrangements we are talking about, and as of now there is no much clarity on that. And again, $2 billion of credit line was given to Bangladesh. And on the trade front, so the trade deficit is in favorable to India, which was greater objection to Bangladesh. We are going to remove all the trade barriers to encourage the flow of the goods of Bangladesh into India. So these are the positive developments. And next is, I have discussed about the citizen journalism and media and what are the changing circumstances of media. So these are the things. Thank you very much and all the best. I try to upload the videos as early as possible, and all the best. Today I'll try to upload this euthanasia also. I completed my reading. Thank you very much.